All right, on this episode of Fixing Things with Pastor Bill, we're back on the brakes on the Mehall truck. And we're going to be using a different method. And this is the method here we're going to be using. This is where you have brake fluid. This is brand new brake fluid. You fill up a clear jug so you can see what's going on in it. And you run your hose down in it. Hook your other end of your hose to the bleeder on your... and then you take a wrench, crack the bleeder. It should start self-siphoning already down into it until you get all the little air bubbles out there. Then you go inside the cab and you pump your brakes. It can't suck the air back in because you got all the air out of the line that's there. That will force the air out and you keep topping off the reservoir until there's no more bubbles. What I did was I kept a video of each time I pumped the brakes so I could see what the line is doing. Then I went back and reviewed the video. This is better than the vacuum that I think of. This is better than the vacuum method that we did before. So what I've learned was on this type of proportioning valve, maybe not on all of them, that by using the vacuum, it can pull the proportioning valve safety switch into the engage mode, which turns on your idiot light. I'm going to show you how to check that proportioning valve right now. So here's the master cylinder, and right down below it on mine, some of them they're on the side, some are down on the firewall, some are on the frame. But there's a little safety switch. See the little white thing on the side there? The little safety switch right there. Now the safety switch actually doesn't do nothing itself, except turns off and on when there's a valve inside there, slides back and forth. So the way mine works, if the brake line got broke in the back, this proportioning valve would slide forward, or no, it would slide back towards the back, because that's my back brakes back there. And what that would do, it would shut off the back brakes. And that was the problem I was having. I couldn't get no stopping power. So the way you check it to see if it's in a neutral position where it should be is you use an ohm meter. I've seen all kinds of things on the internet, and look, it's a simple electric switch. It's either on or off. So when you test it, right, it's either going to go to 0 where it's ground out, or it's going to be an open load, open circuit, right? So what you do is you put your electrode on the center electrical thingy in there. Then take it right to ground. So mine now is tripped. See that? So that means it's in the front position now. Means it's only allowing the front brakes to work. And I just bled the brakes. And I had that open, so I'm going to show you how I opened it, and we'll do it again. All right, I'm going to try to do this without knocking over the camera and dropping my bottle. So you put your wrench on your what the heck is that thing called? Bleeder valve. I don't know if you can see the bleeder valve there or not. So I can't get you in position. Now I got a reflection. All right, now you should be able to see everything. And put your hose so it's tight without dropping your bottle. That was the problem. And now that the camera's in the way, I can't do both. And it should be a tight fit. All right. So right now there's air in the hose. So what you want is to open the valve and push that. You see there was an air bubble right behind it, see that? And it's pushing that in. At the same time, it's draining the reservoir on the front side. So that you want enough to go up to where it can't bleed back in when you're pressing the brake. You can see it's pushing the air out, pushing bubbles in here. Get all those bubbles out. Let's see, make sure this thing doesn't fall. All right, so I'm gonna go in the cab of the truck and pump the brakes. You can see it's still going, still going. It's pulling fluid from the reservoir. I'm gonna go ahead and top the reservoir off just to make sure, and then I'm gonna pump the brakes. You keep watching. I'm going to double check the reservoir. I'm sure I pumped some out. Yep. It doesn't make for the most exciting video. But you can see the bottle is fuller now and there's no air bubbles in this line. I'm going to check the video and see what you guys seen. All right, I reviewed the footage, and there was just a little bit of air in that line, which is good. And I can tell that the proportioning valve opened back up, and so we'll go up there and test it and see if it's open. But first, I want to get that shut that bleeder valve off and remove that brake fluid. All right, so the way you get it so you don't get the stuff all over you is take the brake fluid and put it down close to the ground, so when you pull it off, it just draws the air back down into here. Now you won't get no fluid on you. Double check your bleeder valve. The brakes should be adjusted on this truck. Let's go check that proportioning valve. All right, so the last time we checked it, we were showing a reading on that. We're showing the open load right now, right? And we'll test it. The ohm meter's working. And now we'll put it on the electrode on the tester. Nothing. And if I touch the thing, it goes to 0, right? Touch the ground, nothing. So that's how you reset it. So if the back one was tripping it, You bleed the brakes in the front, and it shows a load on the back, and it pulls that safety switch back into the other position. So that's how you reset your proportioning valve. Now, we took a lot of air out of the system. That doesn't mean there's still not, it's a 20 feet of brake lines that goes to the back, 1/4 inch. Not like these little dinky skinny ones on the front. But we pulled a lot out of it, and I'm gonna probably drive it down the road and test it or something like that. I don't know. I want to get the tires on the back. I don't know. I'm gonna pump the brakes with all the lines closed and see if the valve trips. That's what I'm gonna do. It should have brake pressure now. Before it was going halfway soft. And if it's doing that again, I'm probably just gonna not use the proportioning valve. It has a lot more brake. But it goes and hits that front brake. Let's check the proportioning valve. See, that would have been enough to trip it. Sometimes just pumping the pedal real fast will reset it. Meter is working. Put it on the electrode, and it has not tripped. All right, so that's good. So before, when we bled the brakes the other way, that it showed that when you just open it up and push the pedal and do it the other way, it will trip the proportioning valve. When you do it this way, it does not trip the proportioning valve. In fact, you've seen I could reset the proportioning valve by doing the opposite brakes when I do it. They make a little tool that you can stick in there, and I'm probably going to buy that tool. I thought it came with the kit, but I don't have the kit no more. I'm going to buy that tool, and I'm going to redo the brakes with that tool engaged. I know that the valve is in the neutral position now, so I'm going to get that tool and do the brakes, and it should bleed a lot easier. I'll probably have my son here when I do that. All right, it's been about 2 weeks since I've been working on this project. I got sick, and last week I didn't do nothing. I didn't get out of the house. I couldn't move when it was time to work on stuff. I just sat on the couch. I don't know what I had. I don't know if it was COVID, Timbuktu disease. My puppies are out here with me. But we're back on it. We're back on the meat haul truck, and we're gonna see if we can't get it done. Now, the last time we worked on it, I told you that the part came in, but it was way too late for me to work on it. And that part is this. It's not really a part, it's a tool. And what it does, try to do this one-handedly. Probably not. Has a little tip. It goes down and locks the proportioning valve from moving. So right there. And so you screw that in, and that keeps the balance of the hydraulic fluid from pushing back on the proportioning valve on an area that has air in it, and puts it into safe mode. So I've tried a bunch of different things to get the brakes to bleed, and what happens on the rear is it'll start to bleed, and then it won't pull nothing from the reservoir no more. So that tells me the proportioning valve gets locked off. We went through the video footage and I showed you by using the ohms resistor, you can see whether or not it's engaged, because that little electric switch on it is what causes your idiot light to work on your dashboard. Oh, look at my... This Marky right there. I don't know if you can see him swimming right there. A 2.5 foot koi. But a koi pond. So let's see if we can't get the Mehall truck started up. Back it into position over here. So let's see if we can get this thing running. I haven't started it in 3 weeks. We'll see what happens. Do this while my dogs are over there. All right. El Neutralo choke. 1, 2, 3 pumps. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Alright, let me go get this thing put up there. Alright, back up into the motor again. Got my thing. I even put a little O-ring on it just in case. It may be too thick with that, I don't know. So let's take out that piece. Now I already checked it. It's in a neutral position. I used my ohm meter. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. I've never done brakes this way, but this is what they're saying, and it makes sense. All right, so this thing has a little switch on it, and when that valve is in the lock position, it pushes that switch in. All we're going to do is replace it with this. Then we're going to put the switch back in. Try to get the old man out of here. All right, I got it hooked up. I got the line open, and it's already gravity feeding back to the bottle. And all I gotta do now is pump the pedal and see if we got more air in the line, and see if that thing is working. Let's do this thing. All right, the fluid must have came through somewhere. Let me review the tape. All right, it's definitely working. Put a lot of fluid in the bottle, and I had to fill up the reservoir. So let me try pumping it again. Let's see how much we can get out of it. All right, did it fill up anything? All right, let me review the video. All right, I'm going to go pump some more. All right. Definitely moving fluid through there. Let's check the video again. All right, I'm gonna start on this other side here. You open the valve up. Oh, guys, see, it looks like there was air in there. So after reviewing the video, I definitely have air in the line. And this method definitely is getting the air out of the lines. So let me go pump the brakes some more. All right, let's go check the pedal out. I'm pretty sure we got it. I pulled 2 bottles of brake fluid through each line just to make sure I got all the bubbles out of it. Ready? Oh yeah, we have brake pedal. Yeah, it goes down about an inch or so and gets hard. We got it. That's a good thing. So these little things right here, these things are the ticket. If you're finding it hard to bleed your brakes, you need one of these. Check your proportionate valve with your meter. Make sure it's in a center position. Sometimes you can just pump the pedal a couple times real quick, short bursts. That'll reset it. Sometimes you can just open up the brake line on your front and push it a little bit. That'll reset it. As soon as you got it with the light that goes off, it's not showing continuity between the switch, then pop that thing in there. Get it tight. All that time, I couldn't get brake fluid to move through those. Man, look at my hair. Couldn't get brake fluid to move through my lines. This is the ticket. So, you know what the bad thing is? The O'Reilly shows these on their parts thing. They don't carry them in stock. AutoZone shows them, carries them on their, they don't got them. But this is the tool you need. If you replace a brake line on the back of your vehicle and you have a General Motors product and it has that type of proportioning valve on it, you ain't gonna bleed your brake lines correctly. It's gonna go in safe mode, and that proportioning valve is gonna lock into a position because it thinks it's getting a fluid leak. And that's what you're doing when you're bleeding brakes. You got a fluid leak. So the thing is, that's the tool you need. God bless each and every one of you. Remember this, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I'm gonna test drive this thing now. See if it even wants to stop. What do you think? You guys want to stop? I'll see you next time on Fixing Things with Pastor Bill.